Hey guys, welcome to the Modern Day Investor Podcast again. I'm Mark Robinson, your host. And look, I'm really excited to talk about this session today, which is a little bit different and a little bit off topic to some degree. And it's all about around the energy of money, right? And it's going to be way more important than you think. And what I'm meaning by that is, I personally believe that, money is energy, right? You've got to understand how you collect the energy. You've got to understand how you store the energy. And then you've got to understand how to let go of the energy, right? And it's the same process on whatever you're at. And one of the key components here is to know those three things, right? How do you collect it? How do you store it? And then how do you let it go? Now, one of the things that I believe is slightly different is the letting go part. To me, that's more around how you let it go or how you control it. Because once you collect the money, it can sit there and do nothing, right? Or you can then have that money make you more money. Yeah. And it's very much like energy as well. And one of the things that I'm getting back into studying is breath work, right? And every time I do something, even just as simple as that, right, I can feel the energy change. I can feel my mood change. I can feel everything change. And look, I'm back in the studio, so to speak, or back in my office at home here in Australia. A lot of the sessions or the podcasts that I've done were around the world, right? And we had an incredible 2023. We traveled over, I think it was like 15 countries. I then went over to LA at the towards the end of last year as well, and met some incredible people. And one of the things that happened was my reignited my passion about learning about breath work, and it's something that you're going to hear me talk a lot about before, moving forward. You'll see in next season's podcast, I'll probably even start it with a quick breath work for everybody. So those of you that are listening, it'll be like, let's do three quick breaths, and get that energy and get really focused and get into it. And it's going to be a really incredible season two. Not here to talk about that today, but what I am talking about in season two, I'm going to bring in a bunch of experts in different areas in terms of like modern day strategies, right? Modern day investing strategies on how you guys can implement these strategies with everything that you've learned in today, like in season one. You take everything we do, and I'll do I'll do a wrap up. So you go, hey, yeah, okay, here's a summary of everything that you need to know, right? But the one thing I really want you to understand, guys, here in today's session is around the money. Yeah, you would have heard people talk about, money's just a value of exchange, right? So the more value you give, the more money that you will give. You would have heard things talk about, money won't buy you happiness. Well, it can, like, be brutally honest, guys, it can buy you happiness. And there's actually a book out there, Money Can Buy You Happiness, right? And I would tell you the author, I can't quite remember his name. I haven't read it yet. I am looking forward to jumping in it. um and I think his tagline is something like Robert Kiyosaki meets the barefoot investor or something, so it's going to be quite an interesting read. But yeah, so I should be touting my book more than someone else's, right? So, guys, what I want you to think about is, okay, how much value can I add to the world, right? How can I increase my worth, my value, so that I can then receive more money? And then once you've got it, how can I allocate it in a way using the wealth pyramid method so that I then can create more, control more? And a lot of people think that the investing side of the money equation adds no extra value to the world. And I get that. Like if you think about it, if you're trading cryptocurrency or if you're trading shares or trading Forex, there's no real extra value that you're adding to the world, right? You're making money off just a transaction. That's it. Yeah. And I get that. There's nothing, and but I personally think there's nothing wrong with that. It's what you do with the profits after that can help you, change the world if you want to change the world, adds value to other people's lives, so on and so on. And I want you to understand that that's still an energy thing, right? Energy has to go somewhere. so does money. And there's so much money out there that I want you guys to start tapping into it and going, well, okay, I am worth more. I deserve more. Let me receive more. Yeah. So, a lot of people's going to go, man, this is a bit woo woo. But it's part of what it is, right? It's just how it is. So how do we do this, right? Well, you can create, if you're in business, you can create better offers, irresistible offers. You can, give more. You'll see that we've, in the International Academy of Wealth, we're going to be giving even more and more content away, more value away, because at the end of the day, guys, the more people that understand how they can build their perfect portfolio, the more people can, start to join our community, right? The more energy around the community, it just again, energy flows, right? And we're, at the International Academy of Wealth, guys, we're actually 10 years old, right? So we're actually been in this education space for 10 years now. And, we've never had the best marketing in the world. I'll be brutally honest with that. It's getting better and better. But I truly believe we've had definitely the best product in the world, right? So, and, unless we get our marketing better, then, we can't and won't be able to grow and help more people the way that we want to do it. So why did I talk about our marketing? Look, the reason being is because when you understand what we do, right, and if you've listened to, season 1 of the Modern Day Investor podcast, right, then you'll get to understand about how we build your perfect portfolio. We talk about, bringing cash flow, creating cash flow at the top of the pyramid and bringing it down into the bottom of the pyramid. And all of this is really important because when you understand that's how you can create money without necessarily adding value, right, you start to control that money more. You start to control everything that goes on in that energy space, in the wealth creation space. And all of a sudden you go, okay, I'm open to receive more. I'm open to be more, do more, have more, help, right? That's the key here. And that's what we're all about. We're really wanting to help more people. And we can do that by just through that energy transfer, right? Being able to go, here's more information. This is how you do it. If you want to do it yourself, go do it yourself, right? In our one of my favorite books that we wrote, The Sole Purpose of Wealth, we literally give you a roadmap, a step-by-step guide to go. If you want to go and often do this yourself, here's the guide, right? This is all you have to do. Go for it. There you go. Right. If you want to do it faster, if you want to do it safer, if you want to do it in a fun environment, then come and join the community, right? But bring the right energy, guys. One of the things that we're doing more and more of is cleaning out any negative energy, not just internally, but also from a community perspective as well. And we're okay with that. We want people who really understand that they have to take responsibility for all their financial decisions, that they have to make sure that everything that they're doing, they understand what they're doing before they go into it. And I've gone off on a little bit of a tangent here, right? Unlike me. But the key here is for you to understand that just because you become more educated doesn't mean that you become a wholesale investor or a sophisticated investor. And I was chatting to a friend of mine, really good friend of mine, yesterday, and we were on the phone for, geez, well over an hour. And we were talking about, one or two opportunities that we've had been involved in. And one of them has actually worked extremely well for about 18 years. Right. But the last 2 years, it actually stopped paying. And it was 100% due to COVID, right? Just the way the business was run and what have you. And what we realized was, even though it had such a great track record, that it was almost like a done for you model, right? We would lend him the money, they would go off and do stuff with it, and just pay us a wholesale asset, right, or wholesale cash flow return above market returns, and it went really well. What we found though, right, is if you only had 5 grand, or if you only, 10 grand was a large part of your portfolio, right? Even though you got access to this opportunity, it didn't make you a wholesale investor, right? The energy wasn't there. You've got to, you've got to have quite often to get into those opportunities, you've got to have more capital. And this is a catch 22, right? How do we get into these higher income opportunities, right? And also changing our own state to know that, hey, generally what happens is, wholesale or sophisticated investors get access to this. So how do I start thinking like a wholesale or sophisticated investor? Now, what do I mean by that? I better just clarify on that, guys. So a wholesale or sophisticated investor is a term that, governments use for you to get access to, you know, uh, sophisticated opportunities, right? And the general rule of thumb, right, is something like this, and it's not far off around the world. You need around $2.5 million in net assets. You need to have, say, around 250 to 300 grand that of income that you control, or $500,000, in cash to invest. One of those three, not all three, right, but one of those three. And by having that, that makes you a sophisticated investor. So you get access to what we would call wholesale assets, right? Or wholesale cash flow. This is where the returns can be, 15% per annum, 20% per annum, sometimes a little bit more than that, just depending on the asset class, et cetera, et cetera. Why this is important to you is I know people who fit all three of those, right? And there's no way they should be investing in anything over and above outside bloody, conservative shares or whatever, right? Because they just don't understand it all. And yet I've met people who have got, $1,000, 2 grand to their name, and they should be investing in that because they fully understand the risk. They fully understand how these people are making money, so on and so on, right? So I just wanted to sort of go down that path, right? And because your energy needs to change. Yeah. What I mean by that is you need to become your future self today, right? And you need to start working on yourself. You need to start getting the energy right so that you become that person who you want to be. And that starts with a mindset shift. Then it starts to become I'm going to say this wrong, but a physical shift, right? A physiology, yeah, shift, something like that. It's all got to be mental, then physical, and before you know it, you then end up becoming that person, right? And um, it's not about turning around and saying, hey, not living in the present. That's what I'm aiming for, right? It's not about, all right, I don't want to live in the present because I want to live in that future self. No, that's not the case at all. What I've been doing, guys, is doing a lot of exercises in terms of, again, in this breath work where I can already feel myself changing. I can already feel mentally I'm a different person. I'm starting to see it physically as well. Everything like that has just started to click into place to go, you know what, I am that person I want to be. Right. The funny thing is, though, when I look back, I go, I've always been that person. I've just forgotten, the path, either the path to back to that person, or I just, hasn't seen the path as clear as what I have with all the work that I've been doing internally over the last 12 months. So, and I'm on a fast track for that, guys. So I just wanted to, share a couple of those things that I'll be doing, and I'm going to get, more into that. I'm going to share it more. I can't wait to dig really deep into a number of the stuff that we're doing at the Modern Day Investor and the International Academy of Wealth, who, we really like that side of stuff, guys. So how do we wrap this up? Right. I wanted to make this one pretty short. So how do we wrap this up? Pretty simple, guys. I want you to start thinking about money and seeing it from an energetic perspective. The more value that you provide, the more money that you will receive. I want you to think about how you can start to attract more of it. I want you to start thinking about how you can, store more of it and then control more of it, whether that's, giving it to other people, because it's got to go elsewhere as well, right? And then also bringing it back so that you have this beautiful compounding fact within the money that you store. Yeah, that's sort of what I want you to start thinking about. And if you've got any questions or queries or comments that you want to do, guys, then, hey, as always, comment below. If you're watching it on YouTube, comment below. Or if you're on the podcast, again, guys, reach out to us. You can always email us at team, TEAM at TIAWgroup.com, guys, and we will more than, gladly respond. If we can help in any way, let us know. Hopefully that was useful, guys. I look forward to the final episode coming up in season 1, which is a wrap up, right? And also talking about for what purpose, right? You're making all this money for what, or so what, right? And I'll give you some ideas and stuff on, what we've been doing. I'm going to give you 2 questions, right? If you can truly answer these 2 questions, guys, you're already wealthy. You're already there. Okay. So till next time, guys, keep going, get that energy right, breathe. Already, right? Just by doing that, just allows you to just change your state. Powerful. Bye for now. None of this is advice, not even general advice. This is for entertainment purposes and education only. If you'd like to seek specific advice to your personal circumstances, we urge you to speak to a licensed financial professional.